What's going on, guys? I want to do just a video where I talk to you real quick. I want to go over a few things. Just really in regards to the last video, the phone calls, the emails, the PMs I've gotten from people have really been overwhelming. I mean, the support you guys give me when you give it to me is incredible. So I want to appreciate, everybody that takes time, not just to rate a video, but to comment and put your input or write me a PM or hell, even some of you call me on the phone. I'm glad that some of you, were rejuvenated, so to speak, like Rashawn was when he heard that clip. But I wanted to go through a few things that I think really get lost in the shuffle. First and foremost, for Ian to say he referred to Apex as the truth chaser guy. Let's be honest. He knows exactly who people like myself versus Rashawn, Smitty, Azor. There's a ton of people. Gideon at the top of that list that Ian Cummings knows exists. So please don't, give me that babble that you don't know who the man is. I mean, if you don't, your sales do. So let's leave it at that. I think one thing that really did get lost here is, this is a gaming company that hand selects who they go to and hand picks their interviews for the most sanitized interview possible. And I cannot stress to you enough. Now, I really don't want to do backbreaker videos because there is some tension there between us. But what Backbreaker did is contact us firsthand. They reached out to us. Understand, all the videos and all the time that we put into this, truly it may be a little bit excessive, but for a gaming company to reach out to us and say, you know what, here is our product, we want your feedback. Does anyone realize, no matter what type of product they put out, that is the effort that they made, people? I mean, cut and dry. They came to us and they went for help. If nothing else, they deserve your support for that alone. I mean, EA has done the exact opposite. We have been ridiculed, we have been shunned, we have been told that we manufacture, we have been told that we manipulate. I mean, let's be honest. Even in that interview, Ian came out and said, they go into the replay mode and they spend all their excess time analyzing gameplay. Is there some dream world that they live in where the game doesn't have a flaw every quarter that is annoying? For Pasta Padre, a well-respected gaming, personality, I'm not going to take that away from him. Certainly, the guy's done more, with his gaming persona than I have, of course. But, for him to sit there and say, when I play a game and it doesn't feel right, I just leave it at that. I mean, that's really an ignorant statement. I mean, when I play a game and something goes right, even when something goes wrong, I want to go take a look. I mean, certainly take a look at all the all-pro football videos I've done where it's like, hey, look at the intelligence of this game in this situation or that situation. So, don't get me wrong, I don't break down every single little play. But certainly, in the course of any game, something spectacular is going to happen that's going to stimulate you to want to go in and learn more about the product. And if you're not doing that, then really you're missing out, because in some cases, maybe just not with Madden, a lot of video games put in, little small things, really, that these details that if you don't go in and explore, you're missing a big part of the immersion of the game. So you're really selling yourself short as a gamer, and I would really question anybody that runs a gaming site that openly comes out and says, and again, I'm not knocking his site or anything, but just says, hey, I don't explore the games past, I sit in front of it, drool on myself and play. To me, that's not my definition of a gamer. I mean, let's be honest. If you're sitting there with a camcorder pointed at your TV breaking down a video game play, we've passed casual gamer about, 5 years ago, didn't we, in reality? So, I just wanted to get those points across because I really thought, again, that's personal stuff. That's my personal opinion. It doesn't belong in a video where I'm trying to inform someone. I try to be as unbiased as possible, but, there. If you want some of my biases, there you go. Now, as far as, as far as what I wanted to talk about, I think one thing that I've learned from that clip was the fact that he basically came out and said, this small group of people. And that's something ultimately I've really wanted to change. I mean, I think the fact of the matter is, independently, we've made strides from each other, and I hate to come out and say this, but certainly corporations have came to Vesuz, came to myself, came to Azor, and to me that's great. I mean, I can't knock anybody for saying, hey, sure, I'll go sign on with one of these major YouTube people, but at the end of the day, all that tells me is they've looked at us, they've seen that we're a valuable commodity, and they've seen that we can gain them money. And much like I tried to do with Rashawn on my podcast, I don't want to make someone else money. I'll come out and say it. I want to profit myself. I want to build myself. I don't want to build someone else off my name if my name has value to you. I would much rather be in charge of my own image and my own content than have somebody else say, yeah, we'll put this video up, but don't say this. And I'll be honest, it's happened. You know, people have approached me and said, well, we'd love to have you, but you can't do A, B, and C, you know, but you can do D and E if you want. And it's like, you know, it's just not something I want to do. And I'm certainly not making a case that that's happened with, you know, Vesuz and Azor. You know, they've made their own decisions, and I hope that contracts they were offered or situations they were placed in were completely different than mine. But the situations and things I've been placed in front of are not something I would ever take advantage of. So, with that in mind, I was wondering what you guys would feel about if, you know, the larger people got together, you know, myself, if we could get Apex back to, you know, football content, if we could get maybe Ronick involved, Rashawn, Smitty. What if we all joined together in a channel and pledged to give you guys a video a day? Whether it was football, whether it was first-person shooter, whether it was racing, whatever the case is going to be. Would you guys be apt to go in and support us and say, you know what, individually these people have provided us quality content, but together they can provide us a lot more? Would you be involved in that? Would you all subscribe? You know, would you theoretically turn us in from a whole bunch of individuals into one larger channel that's going to have a much easier pulling power than we do individually? And more so to the people that I mentioned, whether it's Vesuz, Azor, like I said, Smitty, you run the gamut, Shakedown. Would we all be willing to put our differences, you know, however petty aside? Would some of you be willing to maybe come out of a faux pas YouTube retirement to allow that to happen? So it's just an idea that I've toyed around with in my head for the longest time, and when you hear Ian Cummings reiterate to us something like, you know, hey, it's these little guys that sit around and spend all their time analyzing gameplay, I think it'd be very difficult for him to say that if we were maybe one channel as a group of 15, 20,000 subscribers. He wouldn't be able to sit back and say, well, these isolated cases, because we would have, you know, the power of a lot of people. And certainly don't make any mistakes. The power of us is the power of you, the subscriber, the viewer, the rater, the commenter. At the end of the day, we can sit here and do videos 4 people can watch, 400 people can watch, 4,000 people can watch. The message doesn't matter if it's not delivered. So, liked your guys' opinions on that. I do want to let you know I've got a very good Madden video coming out soon. I would expect, you know, it's funny, I'll tell Ian Cummings straight up. I have 2 jobs, and I've got some family issues going on as well on top of that, so it makes free time hard to do. I would say next week, next Wednesday, maybe next Saturday, depending on how, you know, nose to the grindstone I get with it. But until then, again, appreciate the support, guys. And like I said, I really would like to hear your opinions on both of those. And hope everybody has a good weekend. Hope everybody enjoyed the Super Bowl, and I'll talk to you later.